Hey, what is up, everybody? This is your boy AJTRIP, and welcome to the game according to me. This is a simulcast, but not only are you seeing me over on YouTube, but also you are hearing me on Anchor FM and on the many platforms my podcast is found. So, thank you for joining me. Today is the NFL kickoff. Oh, isn't it great? And everything that's going on with the pandemic and everything like that, you never knew we were actually going to get to this day. But here we are, NFL opening day, NFL opening week. What a time to be alive, right? So quickly, let me just go over what we're going to do today. Today, we're going to quickly try to run through all of the 32 teams. Talk about maybe what happened in the off season with each team. I might forget some things because I don't have things written down, memory or anything like that. But I'm gonna try to go through each and every one. There's some additions, some minuses, things like that. Let's talk about each and every team and and those things like that. Um, and then we're gonna go through playoffs. I'm gonna go through the 14 teams. Excuse me, the 14 teams. There's 7 in each conference now. The 14 teams I've selected for the playoffs, and what they and what they're gonna do. As usual, what I've done is I've used playoffpredictors.com. I will make sure to put a link in the description in the YouTube box. I will make sure, or I might put it like when I make like the first comment. I think that might be better. Put it in the first comment section, and then also I'm gonna have it in the place for my podcast. So you should be able to click on that and get it there as well. So, but once again, I use playoffpredictors.com, and this is where you can select each one of the 256 games week by week. It doesn't take too long. I finished mine in about 25-30 minutes, so it doesn't take too long. It's a very quick and easy thing, and then you select the playoff winners and things like that. And then with all of that being said, they go ahead and they tabulate each and everything, and then they're able to go to those rhythms, and they do the tiebreakers because I have tiebreakers, and they're able to do all those things, and they select the seeds and everything like that. So this is gonna be something interesting, I think. So yes, you go ahead and you check it out. Playoffpredictors.com, where you can make your own playoff predictors, and you can predict what you want for you. If you ain't even gotta do the whole season, you can just do your favorite team. You can just pick your favorite team and see what you want to do for that. So I truly enjoy it. I think you guys will like it too. I've done it for several years now. The last couple of years, I've been doing it with the YouTube and the podcast. I've used it as well, so it's a very fun thing to do. I don't think they've done it with college basketball yet, but that would be something that's got to be next. 'Cause up here they have football, basketball, baseball. Maybe I think basketball is just the NBA, right? Yeah, it's just the NBA. Yeah. So, but if they ever did college basketball, that would be a good one to use too. So yeah, here we are. So let's go ahead and let's just quickly go through the teams. We're gonna start over on the AFC. Let's start with the defending AFC champion, the Kansas City Chiefs, and the AFC West. Chiefs have signed Mahomes to a record deal. They've signed a lot of their players back. So a lot of players under contract. They drafted the rookie from LSU running back to be in the backfield. They have done several things. Don't know if they have any key losses, really. Can't remember if they have any key losses. Um, so it seems like everything is set up for them. If they stay healthy, they are going to be a contender. There's no question about that. I love what this team is, and I love what this team is is standing for. They been chirping all season, talking about getting being a dynasty. And somebody, I forget who it was, somebody even said, let's go after Jordan and let's get six. They want to get six. It wasn't Tom Brady, Jordan. So it's a whole different sport. But they are wanting to create a dynasty, and I think they have the opportunity to do so. I really do. The former Oakland Raiders, now Las Vegas Raiders, are going to open in Las Vegas. Um, and I think this is a team on the rise. I think they've signed Marcus Mariota, although I think I saw Marcus Mariota has been put on IR. I think that he may have the opportunity to come back. One of those things. And so yeah, so they're gonna go with David Carr, but and they drafted one of the receivers. You see, and this is why you need to do your research. Yeah, but whatever. They did mix some things in the draft picks with picks when they got from the Chicago Bears, from the Khalil Mack deal and a couple other deals as well. Uh, but this team, I think this team I think it's kind of there, and I think it's not. You got Josh Jacobs, who's in his second year in the backfield. Um, uh, you got the tight end Darren Waller, who I think is a on the come star. Works perfectly in the West Coast offense that uh, John Gruden likes to run. And so yeah, I do think that they are they are a good team, but I also think that they're not good enough. I don't think they're going to make the playoffs. I don't have them making the playoffs, but I think they'll be there. They'll be there, and uh, you know, a kick here or a fumble there or a interception here, you could see them turning around their season any other way. And again, it all depends on Derek Carr. John. They like to say about John Gruden, his favorite quarterback is his next quarterback, right? Well, we'll see if that's what Let's see if that's what Derek Carr and it's with Marcus Mariota as well. The Chargers. The Chargers, really good team. I just think their schedule is they're gonna have one of those schedules where they're facing everybody that's good, and they're gonna be better than them. I think they're gone for the Rivers. He's in Indianapolis. They going with Tyrod Taylor, and they drafted the guy from Oregon, Justin Herbert, and then there's a talk. There's always a talk about Colin Kaepernick joining the league. So joining them, they were talking about that throughout the season. So yeah, Keenan Allen signed a contract extension, and they have many other talented players on their team. So uh, I would not be surprised to see the Chargers jump up. I don't have them jumping up, but I think the Chargers are a very talented team. I just think this isn't going to be their year. The Denver Broncos, I think they just announced Von Miller going to be out for the season with an ankle injury. That's going to be tough on that defense, and I didn't think they were going to be like a particular big time team because they're still going with Drew Lock, who's not a lock to be very good, but I think he can be very good. This is his second season. And they've got one of those fast receivers too from Alabama as well from somewhere. And this could be a very interesting team. You know, in the future, I think it could be interesting. Right now, especially with Von Miller being gone, in their defense, Bradley Chubb is not. Bradley Chubb is coming off an injury, and he's in his first year back. Yeah, I think 4-12, which what I have them at, is perfect to be last place in the division. Um, the AFC East, the New England Patriots. I have them winning the division. They know we signed and they've got many players have opted out because of the COVID-19. They have Cam Newton and they have Bill Belichick. I think they are going to still be a force to be reckoned with, and I think they are going to just keep on rolling. As this thing is, they're going to keep on rolling. The Buffalo Bills, they got Stephon Diggs via trade in the offseason. And yeah, this is all going to be on whether Josh Allen takes that next step. That playoff game the Buffalo Bills had against the Texans was a truly dichotomy of what you get with Josh Allen, good and bad. the throws that he was throwing and the decisions that he was making, especially later on in the game, you know. But if he gets better, and I think he can get better. Sometimes I know some people are they're not sure, but I think he can get better. I think he can get to a point to where, first of all, I'd rather have him than have Mitch Trubisky for my team. But I think he can get to the point to where he can get those things out of his system and be a very effective, productive quarterback. And he becomes a very productive quarterback. Watch out, because that defense is something special. The New York Jets, again, I think this may be one of those things where they just, again, you're talking about maybe a team that could be good, but, just they're going to play too many other good teams. And those two other good teams are just going to be better than them. Maybe by 3-4 points, they're just going to be better than them. So you have to, I think Sam Darnold's going to take a next step and become a good quarterback. And then I think the Jets could be one of those teams next year where we're talking about them overtaking maybe both the Bills and the Patriots and becoming the division winners of that team. So that's going to be something to be on the lookout for. See how they play this year under Adam Gase. They did trade Jamal Adams to Seattle, so and they're going to be able to happy there either. So this probably 5-11. This probably means that they probably will fire Adam Gase and then move on to another spot. The Miami Dolphins. I have them last in the division, and I think that we'll probably see Tua. They're going with Ryan Fitzmagic, at the start of the season, but I think we will probably see Tua sometime in the later half of the season. Because I don't know if they are going to actually to sit him out the entire year. I think the last time that was done, where a first round quarterback set out the entire year. I can't remember. The last one I remember is Carson Palmer. Well, hell, maybe it was Aaron Rodgers. Maybe that's who it was. Maybe it was actually Aaron Rodgers, who was the first quarterback to set out the entire year. So, trying to think. I can't think really quickly of anybody else who did that and came back in their second year. So no, I think ideally that's what they would do, especially it's more or less it's not anything that's going on with how they feel about his play. I think it has all the thing to do with his hip injury. So I think that's what it's all about when it comes to the Dolphins and Tua. But yeah, I don't think the Dolphins, unfortunately, are going to be so dwellers again in that division. The AFC South. I have I have three good teams. I have all three teams making the playoffs. The Houston Texans are going to win that division. Even though they traded away DeAndre Hopkins, I think they still have a lot of talent around there with Will Fuller and Darren Fells, the tight end. They traded for David Johnson. I think he'll be another exciting running back. He's got a chip on his shoulder. He thinks people think that because he had an injury a couple years ago, he hasn't been the same. Think he's fall off. I think he's looking to show people that he's back on. Not only is he still a good fantasy football player, but he's still a real good football player. And I think he's going to be have a chip on his shoulder. And of course, Deshaun Watson, he's also signed another big contract. He's looking to take this team out. And then we got to get the defense. They got rid of Clowney last year. With J.J. Watt's got to stay healthy, and then we got some other people that need to stay healthy as well. And that defense needs to be able to stop people. They didn't stop a lot of people. They didn't, especially Patrick Mahomes. They stopped Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs, so they have to do that. And so we'll see if they can be able to do that. I have the Colts as the second team making the playoffs from that team. Philip Rivers is there. I think they've got Jonathan Taylor, the running back from Wisconsin. there as well. And they're gonna. I don't know if they're gonna give him the ball primarily or do a running back by committee because they also have Marlon Mack there. They also have Nakeem Hines there as well. But they have a lot of talent in that backfield. A lot of talent on that thing. They also drafted from USC the wide receiver Michael Pittman Jr. He's there to go along. He's the big guy to go along with their speed guys of Hilton and somebody else. So, but T.Y. Hilton, the main guy. So you got your speed guys and you got your big guy, you go up and get it guy. So the defense is gonna have to, work themselves out themselves, but I expect they will. I'm thinking 11-5 for the Indianapolis Colts, and then the Tennessee Titans. I don't think what we saw last year from Ryan Tannehill was a fluke. I've always thought that Ryan Tannehill was a good quarterback. But there's a phrase out there, good enough to get you beat. And I think maybe that's what Ryan Tannehill might be. Ryan Tannehill might be just good enough to get you beat. But we'll see. We'll see if he can step it up and play like he played last year. Because last year when he played, when he went from the time he came in relief from Mariota to the end of the season, he was the highest rated quarterback. He was, he had like best completion percentage. He had the most yards from temp. He led in those categories, and I think he was like top 5 in the QBR of the ESPN stat. So he was a good player. He was a great player, and they signed him to a contract. They signed Derrick Henry to a contract. They still got him. And their defense would still be still talented as well. So I'm picking the Tennessee Titans to go 10-6 and to have them be, you know, the best out of the best. And then finally we have the Jacksonville Jaguars, and this is a team that I think is, I don't know if they're trying to tank for Trevor Lawrence, but I think they will be tanking for Trevor Lawrence. I don't think they've traded away everything. They've gotten rid of Ngakwe and then, I don't know. I think they did trade Calais Campbell to Baltimore, and of course they've gotten rid of everything else that they've had. So from that playoff that playoff team that was in the AFC Championship game, excuse me, that was so close to going to the Super Bowl. It's like basically no more. There's like very few people from that team on, especially when it comes to the stars on this team. So it is not very good down there, and so they'll be in the rain for the Jacksonville Jaguars. They will be. Um, and here we are. We've got the AFC North, and we have the Rams and the Steelers and the Browns and the Bengals. Right. So let's start with the Ravens. Reigning MVP Lamar Jackson. Um, he is going to be, very, very scrutinized this year by a lot of people, and myself included. Because even though he had a great season last year, and a wonderful season, a historic season, an MVP season, can he do it again? Can he do it again? And this is not about him proving that he is, a quarterback or anything like that, or but we just want to see it again, right? Because running quarterbacks have this season and then they don't do too well afterwards. Michael Vick had a season like this. Ronald Cunningham had a season like this. Cam Newton had a season like this, um, and they just didn't never. It wasn't the same afterwards. It wasn't as good. So and Lamar Jackson's young. He's a young superstar. I believe he's the youngest MVP ever. So he's very young. But I'm looking to see if he can pull off what what he did this year. Like I just mentioned, they got Calais Campbell. They still got Mark Ingram in the backfield. One of their tight ends has been gone. However, but they still got the other one who's really good, um, and still have a bunch of a bunch of good talent on that defense. So I think they're gonna do the same thing. They're gonna look to pound the ball, make pass when needed to, and see what happens there. Um, and they're probably gonna use Lamar Jackson's legs. I would like to see him more or less throw more, do more from the pocket. But we'll see. We'll see what happens with the Ravens and Mr. Man. Okay, so then the next one is the Steelers. Big Ben last year was hurt. They had a lot of injuries. They were, just unfortunately just could not overcome those injuries. And even though they had all those injuries, they still were like 7-9, 8-8. You know, I think there was something like that. In fact, I think if the playoff season was, if the playoffs that are now, right? If they were here to, if they were back then, last year's playoffs, 17, they would have been the 17 to make it. So they were, they were there. Mike Tomlin does a great job, and I think he's going to rebound his team. Just a couple of days ago, Ryan Shazier officially announced his retirement from the league. A couple years ago, he had that scary neck injury, and he was trying to make a comeback. He was walked at the draft a couple years ago as well, but it just he was unfortunately able to make it back. But I believe he's living a better life, and so we shout out to Ryan Shazier. Um, you know, doing a very, good thing. I think he's gonna be a Steeler for life coach there. He get all his buddies there. So, but yeah, I think with James Conner coming back, in particular Ben Roethlisberger coming back, um, I've actually had this team going, being the second place team above the Browns and the Bengals, and I think that this is going to be, a really special year for Big Ben and Mike Tomlin. I think this might be Ben's last year. I kind of feel that. I kind of feel like this might be Ben's last year. Um, the Browns. They got a new coach. They got rid of Freddie Kitchens. They've now got Mike Stepanski or Kevin Stepanski, excuse me, from Minnesota Vikings. And so now we've got they've got the talent. They've got everything they want. What do you do? And like I mentioned with a few other teams, like the Chargers and the Jets and many others, I think this is a good team that just has a unfortunate schedule where they're facing a lot of teams that are just better than them, and not by a lot. Again, 3-4 points. There's probably going to be a lot of 21-20, 24-23, 28-27. 31-30, 28 type games. When it comes to the Browns, when it comes to teams like the Chargers and the Browns. But unfortunately, they're going to be on the losing side of those games. I think they become. I also say this: they have the talent to be on the winning side of those games, but I think more or less they're going to be on the losing side. So I have them missing the playoffs in their first year, but I kind of think this is a stepping stone. I think Baker Mayfield will come back and he will be a better quarterback. I think he will. I think he will probably be, if he stays healthy, throw for 4,000 yards. I think he'll have a better completion percentage, better touchdown to interception ratio. And I think I think it would just be that the other team was just better on that Sunday. So. And finally, the Bengals. You've got the rookie Joe Burrow, right? Joe Burrow is the rookie Cincinnati. I think he's gonna play well. I think he's gonna play well, and he's got AJ Green there. I think what you may see, and here's a wild prediction. I think what you may see, because they're going to be bad, but I think you will see AJ Green get traded by the trade deadline, on the trade deadline, to a team that's in the running from the Bengals, and I think they'll get a first or a second round pick for him, and then they'll use that in the draft to take out some more. But yeah, I can see that happening. But I expect Joe Burrow to play well. Joe Mixon got a new contract. I don't know how exactly good the defense can be, anything like that, but I think they will play well. I don't think this is something where you're looking at him and say he's overmatched. I think Joe Burrow will step up to the plate, and he'll have his rookie moments as every rookie does. But I think he will be something special, and I think he'll have Bengals fans salivating at the end of the season, even though they'll be 13-3. So now for the NFC, let's talk about the NFC champion 49ers. I have them continue to win in the division. And this is another division where, again, I have three teams making the division. Adding this seventh team, I think is going to make a lot of good divisions have that other, thing. And I think there's also a division that's not too well, sort of, in the Eastern Conference. I think that might have helped with this as well. But three teams making the playoffs from the NFC West. The 49ers, we know they've got everything in terms. They lost Emmanuel Sanders to the Saints. They traded DeForest Buckner to the Colts. But otherwise, they still got the Bosa guy. Nick Bosa. He's still going to be doing his thing on the defense, and that defense is still going to be tough and rock hard. And they still are going to have the offense. And I think another year with Jimmy Garoppolo in this offense, for 1 year removed from the torn ACL, I think he could be even better than he was last year. He was so close to throwing for 4,000 yards, and I think this year he may even get it. But they do like to run the ball, as we saw. They love to run the ball, and they still have Tevin Coleman, and they still have Raheem Mostert, even though Raheem Mostert wants a new contract. They still have those guys, and I think they still will go and they will still pound that ball if they need to. But this could be a year. This could be a breakout year for Jimmy Garoppolo. This really could be. Second, winning the Seattle Seahawks. Just, we know what they have. Like I said, they've signed Jamal Murray from the trade from the Jets, and then they've got DK Metcalf. Russell Wilson still there. They have still many talent. Tyler Lockett. Still much talent on that offense and on that defensive side. I think it's still a fantastic team. I think this is a team that still can win the Super Bowl. As long as they got that guy at the head with Russell Wilson, anything can happen. But I have them going 12-4. And then the third team to make the playoffs is Los Angeles Rams. I'm not gonna give up on Jared Goff just yet. I'm not gonna give up on Jared Goff just yet. The Rams got rid of Todd Gurley. Todd Gurley's not in Atlanta. But then they just signed Jalen Ramsey to a record deal for defensive backs. But the man in the middle, that man, Mama, there goes that man, Aaron Donald. He is the guy that holds that defense together. He stays healthy. That defense will stay tight. The other day they have a new defensive coordinator to let go of Wade Phillips, I believe it was. So and again, this is still. I think this is going to be a new year. So I still believe in Jared Goff. Cooper Kupp is going to be back healthy, and they still have some other good talent there as well. So I'm sticking with the Rams, and the Rams will still be good. And yes, and while everybody's got the Cardinals being a surprise team, the Cardinals could be a team that steps up and wins the division. I have them being last, and I have them being actually I have them being pretty bad at 3-13. So again, we will see that probably won't really be what they are, but I think they could. I think they still could be the last place in the division. Kyler Murray is still a young quarterback, still very very well. I think a lot of people are expecting Kyler Murray to take that next step as well. So we'll just go on and see what goes down. But from my opinion, I think 49ers, Seahawks, and Rams are the playoff teams that come from the West. Talk about the East. We got the Philadelphia Eagles. Have them 11-5, have them winning the division. The only team to make the playoffs. I think they go 6-0 in the division. And I think it's all on Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz stays healthy. Carson Wentz, and more than Carson Wentz staying healthy, everybody else stays healthy. Alshon Jeffrey stays healthy. Deshaun Jackson stays healthy. All of the other talent they have, Zach Ertz stays healthy. Then they have so much great talent that they all stay healthy finally. And they go 11-5 and they win the division and they make a run and they do some stuff in the playoffs, maybe. Maybe depends on their seeding and what happens on other things. I'll show you I'll show you what I think of playoffs in just a minute. But yeah, the Eagles are there. They also drafted Jalen Hurts. So I think they're gonna do some wildcat stuff. Maybe with Jalen Hurts and maybe even play him at receiver or something like that. So, but I think that's going to be there's going to be something special. Next, I have the Cowboys, 97, missing the playoffs. Um, and I don't think Dak Prescott's going to be as good as he was last year. Offensively. I kind of think maybe they would probably go back to running the ball more, which I don't know if that's necessary. And actually, I think you know why they ran the ball, they passed the ball so much last year because you know Zeke held out. So they went down and they put on the passing game, which was fine. And once they saw that Dak could handle it, they just kept passing it. But I think now since Zeke is going to be there from the start from the get go, they're probably going to put the ball back in his hand. Although I would say that they shouldn't just take it out and they shouldn't just go power run game all the time. They really should focus a lot on doing their passing game and and keep Dak Prescott. I think Dak Prescott is a good quarterback, and he deserves to to be paid. I don't know if he deserves to be paid $30 million. I don't think he's that good of a quarterback, but that's the going rate, so whatever. So, but he's a good quarterback, so I think that could be something that is interesting. But I don't have them making the playoffs. The third place team is the Washington football team. They won't be a mess of a team on the field as they are off the field. Off the field, they are just wow with sex scandals and sexual harassment and of course the damn team name. They're just called the Washington football team right now. And everything that's gone down. Um, that team, that owner he's on his last leg. He's on his last leg. There is definitely a certain chance that by the end of this season he does not own the Washington football team. I think I think that's a 35% to 40% chance of that happening. I really do because it just seems like every other week something else comes out about them. And right now the NFL is doing their investigation for them, and you know we're just waiting to see. I know Redskins fans would love to see Dan Snyder have this team taken away from him because I think they blame him for a lot of the stuff that's going on. As for on the football team, on the football field, I just don't know if they have the talent, to hang with anybody else. But they will. I believe in Chico. I believe in Ron Rivera. He is a damn good coach, and I think he'll have this team moving and hustling, and maybe even next year they'll have this team fighting for a title, fighting for a division championship. However, it's got to be on that quarterback, Dwayne Haskins. He had a rookie year, and again he was hit his rookie moments. Where he step up and show that he can do the stuff he did in Ohio State, he can do here in Washington. So we'll see about that. And then the Giants, I have them being last. I have them once again being the number one team in the NFL draft, and we'll show you that later as well. Um, but listen, it's just the way it is, and um, I think that Saquon Barkley, still there. I think Daniel Jones is just there. I just don't know if I think that's all the talent they have. It's just Jones and Barkley right now. And I think that's the reason why they're going to be 2-14 and have the number one draft pick. And if they have the number one draft pick, that's fine. They can get someone else. They can make a trade for it, get some more picks, and then fill out their roster. Daniel Jones Daniel Jones is good, but he's just the team is just bad. Then you don't need Trevor Lawrence. You have a quarterback. Although they may do Arizona. draft Trevor Lawrence and then trade Daniel Jones. So, but I have the Giants last in NFC East. Um, the South, I have the Saints going 15-1. 15-1 the Saints. I think um, they have so much talent and they have so much to do. And again, Drew Brees signed a 2-year contract extension, and they've signed out there also signed what's his face James Winston to help with the backup duties along with Taysom Hill. Um, so it's we'll just have to wait and see. So um, the stuff that went down in the off season with Drew Brees and his national anthem speak, and I don't know if that will have anything going on with with the team or anything like that. I don't know if they're, I think they're pretty much get over it and something like that. But they should naturally they should respect somebody's opinion. But that's neither here nor there. Um, so I think what we're going to see is I don't think that will hurt them. I think they'll come out and they'll be a damn good team. They'll be the number one seed in the Eastern Conference, not Eastern Conference, but in the NFC. Tampa Bay Buccaneers, I have them going 2-6. First year Tom Brady was with Bruce Arians in that offense. I think they will be truly. I think they will truly be a exciting team to watch. But I also think they're going to be a team that is, going to have some struggles here and there, especially, you know, you know, Bruce Arians likes to throw the ball down the field, and can Brady do it with his arm strength at his age? We'll have to wait and see. Um, we'll see if their defense can hold up. They have some talent on there, but can their defense hold up in certain places, especially against team high-flight offense like the Saints and the Packers and the Niners and Seahawks and things like that, and other teams in the Eastern Conference. They play the Chiefs, at one point. So um, it's gonna be something that they need to be on the lookout for in Buccaneers. But I do have them making the playoffs. So the Buccaneers are going to play a second team in the South. I have the third team being the Atlanta Falcons. The Atlanta Falcons being 4-12. I think once again they'll be starting to question what they need to do, and if they need to start trading or releasing people. And that probably means that Dan Quinn will be fired. And then again, the questions will happen: do we need to trade Matt Ryan? Do we need to cut Matt Ryan? Do we need to trade Julio Jones and cut Julio Jones? And again, we signed Todd Gurley, but do we need to cut him? And anybody else, and then start a rebuilding situation down there in Atlanta. So. But I think the division is too good, especially at the top. The Saints and the Buccaneers is too good. I don't think they can handle them. And then the other teams that they face throughout the year, I just don't think they have it in them. So I think the Falcons are going to end up in third place, and Dan Quinn will be axed. Um, then we have the Carolina Panthers. Carolina Panthers 3-13, their first year under new head coach Matt Rule, who comes from Baylor. Um, they got Joe Brady, offensive coordinator from LSU, and Joe Burrow had that for this a fantastic year under Joe Brady. So we'll see what Teddy Bridgewater does. We'll see what Christian McCaffrey does. I think again, this is just probably the teams, that division they're in, Saints and Buccaneers. Just don't think there's anything like that. The teams that they play are just going to be teams that are going to be able to be better than them and beat them. And but I do expect them to be competitive. I don't expect them to be getting run over like Jacksonville. I think Jacksonville will get run over a lot. I think Jacksonville will get run over a lot. Uh, I think the Giants may get run over a lot, but I think the Panthers will be very competitive. But they'll still be 3-13, and they will still be not there. Not all there when it comes to the division and the conference and everything like that. And then the North. I once again have the Green Bay Packers winning the North, and here's why. I will never, never not believe in Aaron Rodgers. I just won't. And then after them, after the Packers drafting a quarterback in the first round, I think Aaron Rodgers is going to be able to prove this year that he still got it and he's still the best quarterback in this game. And I think we know Aaron Jones is a good running back. He scored so many touchdowns last year. They get two-headed system with Jamal Williams as well. They didn't get a lot of offensive talent to help Aaron Rodgers around, but I think we know Aaron Rodgers can just make people a talented, a talented player as hell. Um, and I have them going 6-0 in the division, which is crazy, but I think they can be, and I think they'll be 13-3, and I think they'll be a big time favorite going into the playoffs. Um, I have the Vikings second place at 7-9. I think I'm not sure what's happening with the Dalvin Cook situation. If Dalvin Cook is going to play, we're going to hold out, or we're just going to, continue on. But I do think he is. I think he's the third as third to drink. Like you said earlier, they've gotten rid of Stephon Diggs. He is now in Buffalo. But they did draft another receiver, and they've got some other good talent as well. So they will still be in it. And the Vikings are a team. They're one of these teams where you know the the record is 7-9, but it could easily be 9-7, and maybe even 10-6 at some point as well. So I think that's where we got that, and their defense is pretty stout as well. Talking about a pretty stout defense, the Chicago Bears, my team, the Bears, 7-9. Well, actually, what we do is let's actually let's wait for them to last because that is my team. So I have to talk about my team. So then we talk about the Lions, and the Lions I have them being last, being 6-10. This should probably be Matt Patricia's last year, but I think this will be again the same thing as last year. They'll be close, but no cigar. I think Stafford will probably throw for 5,000 yards once again. I think he'll probably have another great season. He would challenge Christian McCaffrey for Offensive Player of the Year. Um, but I just think teams in their division, they're going to go 1-5 in their division. And I think the other teams that they play when it comes to the AFC as well, that's going to be just too good for them, and they just won't be able to hang. And Matt Patricia will be gone, and the Lions will be 6-10. And now, here we are, the Chicago Bears, my team, 7-9, right? And this can go this can go anywhere. The Bears are another team that, depending on quarterback play, injuries, and many other things, they can be 7-9. They can also be as low as 5-11. I think. I think they can also be as high as 11-5. You know, I don't. Again, I don't know if they're going to defeat the Packers. Once again, when they won the division last year and a couple years ago, I said I wouldn't believe them until they beat the Packers. And they did. They beat the Packers at home. And they lost twice to them again last year. The same old shit. And I think it could be the same old shit again this year. Starting Mitch Trubisky, and who knows how long his leash lasts. I don't know when they'll bring in Nick Foles. I don't even know if Mitch Trubisky will play well. Before, everything went down, and they was talking about a quarterback competition between Mitch Trubisky and Nick Foles. I said this. There are 4 outcomes where Mitchell Trubisky becomes the quarterback, right? I said that 33% Nick Foles get injured. He did not get injured. There's a 33% that Nick Foles is just awful. And from what reports are, he wasn't that awful. He was actually just on par with Mitchell Trubisky. 33% was that it's not a true competition, and I'm thinking that's where that's where this lies. And then there's that 1%. There's that 1% where Mr. Trubisky was better, and I don't think that was that way either. And so I'm going to 33% where this just maybe was not a true competition. This was just, hey, we're gonna get Nick Foles and have him as a backup, but Mitch will be our starter come September, whatever. So that's why I think it is. And listen, they made some a good signing in the offseason with Robert Quinn, go Leonard Floyd. They lost Kwiatkowski, but they kept Danny Trevathan. They let go of Prince Moore, but they drafted a guy from Utah who was injured, but who people say he got a lot of talent. So he could be a steal of the draft. Um, they made some other points as well. So I think drafting Cole Kmet as a tight end. They let go of Trey Burton. They signed Jimmy Graham. So they're trying to do. But we'll see. It's my Bears. Yeah. So we'll see if what happens when it comes down to my Bears. And but I have them being in third place at 7-9, same record as the Vikings, but I think because of the division record, Vikings 3-3, Bears would be 2-4. They would be technically the second place team. The Vikings would be. So that being said, we now look at the playoff structure, right? Ravens and the Saints will have the byes, and then we have everybody else fighting in that first round matchups. Colts 6 seed, Patriots 3, Titans 2 seed, Chiefs 7 seed, Steelers 5 seed, Texans 4 seed, and the NFC Buccaneers 7 seed facing the 49ers the second seed. The Packers a 3 seed facing the Rams the 6 seed, the Seahawks the 5 seed facing the Eagles the 4 seed. That's the wild card round. Well, the reason why I like this is because that wild card weekend, you're gonna get 3 games on Saturday and 3 games on Sunday, which is what I love. I love that. So good opening weekend. Then we go into the divisional round. I have the Colts advancing over the Patriots, the upset. I have the Chiefs advancing over the Titans of the Texans, beating the Steelers. In the NFC, I have the 49ers beating the Buccaneers, the Packers beating the Rams, and the Seahawks beating beating the Eagles. So then those games have the Ravens beating the Colts or the Chiefs beating the Texans. I have the Packers upset going to 49, going to San Francisco, making up for last year's conference finals squashing and beating them in 49ers. And then I have the Saints taking out the Seahawks. So then the championship games are the Chiefs and the Ravens and the Saints and the Packers. I have in the NFC the Saints beating the Packers in overtime, 34-28. Once again, another championship NFC championship loss for Aaron Rodgers, second consecutive, and it's just it's going to be hard, for him. And I think he's really good. I really do think, he may ask for his trade in the off season, anything like that, to be traded, anything like that. But I think they're gonna try to keep him there, and it is something that he doesn't have more Super Bowl appearances, than he does. But that's just how the game goes. And in the AFC Championship game, I have the Chiefs beating the Ravens 27-23, making once again my Super Bowl pick for the second year in a row. They had this last year, the second year in a row. The Kansas City Chiefs taking on the New Orleans Saints. And for the second year in a row, I have once again the Saints beating the Chiefs 33-26. The Super Bowl MVP being Drew Brees, who rides off into the sunset and goes to NBC to be in the booth with Chris Collinsworth and Al Michaels. So yeah, that's it. That's the way I have it. Once again, it's just I think this is going to be an awesome playoffs. I love the adding of the new seed, one seed. Only the one seed gets to buy. I think at some point we probably will go to 16 teams. I do think that is a possibility. With probably we'll be having with maybe with what it being either 2 games Friday night or 2 games Monday night. Either or maybe even one game Friday night and 1 game Monday night. Um, but I do think we are going to have we at some point could have 16 teams, but I think right now 14 is good enough for me. And I have the Saints being your Super Bowl champions, the 2020-2021 Super Bowl champions. So here, and another thing about this website is that they give you the draft order, right? They give you the draft order, and as you can see here, the Giants are 1, the Jacksonville Jaguars are 2, Carolina is 3, Arizona is 4, Cincinnati will be 5, Miami 6, Washington will be 7, Denver 8, Falcons 9, and the Jets are 10. Those are the top 10, but as you can see right there, they have the other 3 all in the order, and that's according. They take, again, it says at the top. It does not take into account the trades that were made, any penalties that could be assessed, or any other draft manipulation. Like I said, I talked about Cincinnati, could be, trading AJ Green by the trade deadline. Let's say if they trade him to, Seattle, then that could be, Seattle has the 27th pick in my little agreement, and that could also be Cincinnati's pick. Cincinnati could have 2 first-round picks. Help Joe Burrow out, get another receiver, and then get someone else as well. So, but that's the draft order. Another great feature of NFL playoff, the playoffpredictor.com on the NFL side. And finally, the awards. Who are going to win the awards for the 2020-2021 season? So let's start with comeback player of the year. You go, you hurt your ankle, you hurt your shoulder, you come back and lead a team to an 11-5 who just lost their Hall of Fame quarterback. Yes, you deserve comeback player of the year. It's Cam Newton of the New England Patriots. Coach of the year, 11-5 team, Frank Wright. Check it out, baby. You are the coach of the year. Congratulations. Defensive player of the year, Aaron Donald. What can you say? He's going to dominate as always. And once again, prove that he is the best defensive player in a long time. He could end up being the greatest defensive player of all time by the end of his career. He is something special. Aaron Donald wins defensive player of the year. Offensive player of the year, like I said earlier, is going to be between Matthew Stafford of Detroit and Christian McCaffrey. But I think once again, Christian McCaffrey is going to shock the world. He's going to have 1,000 yards. He's going to catch 100 balls and maybe even catch another 1,000 yards. He's going to go 1,000 once again. I think Christian McCaffrey once again becomes your offensive player of the year. Defensive rookie of the year, Chase Young, the edge rusher out of Washington from Ohio State. I think he's going to be your defensive rookie of the year. Offensive rookie of the year, I talked about Nakeem Hines and Marlon Mack in Indianapolis sharing time with Jonathan Taylor, but I think most of all Jonathan Taylor will be, by halfway through the season, will be proving that he should be the number one guy, and he's probably going to rush for 1,200 yards, catch a lot of balls out of the backfield, and he'll be one of the cogs that leads the Indianapolis Colts to the playoffs, causing him to be the offensive rookie of the year. And the MVP, you go 15-1, you probably should be the MVP, and that's Drew Brees. I think Drew Brees goes out there, goes 15-1. I think he has a fantastic season. Another 70 completions. I think they're probably gonna maybe run the ball a little bit more because he is getting older. Probably not 4,000 yards, but I think he's gonna throw the ball to Michael Thomas all day, and that's not a bad thing. And so I think he'll probably throw for 30, 35 touchdowns. Maybe 10, 12, maybe 15 interceptions, but I don't think those 15 interceptions are going to hurt him enough. We talked about Lamar Jackson. We know what Patrick Mahomes is going to do. And I even think Pat, we talked about our guys, McCaffrey and Stafford, but they're going to be on losing teams. So I think 15-1, I think you go with your boy, Drew Brees, as the MVP. All right, y'all, that's going to be it. Thank you guys for watching over on YouTube. Thank you guys for listening on my podcast, the 2020-2021 NFL predictions and preview show. As football is coming back, things now change with the schedule. every Tuesday morning, or Tuesday afternoon, whatever it is. But every Tuesday, you're going to get a review of the week in football. Not only pro, but also college. Because even though college is very weird and not all of the conferences are playing and everything like that, we do have college football. So I will be touching on some of the college football games, on the podcast. But we're gonna basically be talking about the NFL and going through some of the big storylines and going through some of the other things, the big games and everything like that. So now the podcast comes back. It comes back every week. For the most part, there may be weeks where I do miss. There are times things happen, but I expect to do every Tuesday podcast. And just the podcast. I will not be doing simulcast. Um, for these things. So those on YouTube, make sure you go over, you check in the description box. You find me and you follow me on one of my podcast links. I'm everywhere. I'm on Apple. I'm on Google. I'm on I'm on wherever you're at, wherever I'm at. You find iHeartRadio, wherever. Spotify, you name it, I'm on it. So just go there and find me, subscribe, and get ready there every Tuesday you can get my podcast. All right, y'all. Thank you guys so much for watching, and again, thank you guys so much for listening. Let's do a lot of plugging here. Make sure you go to patreon.com/AJTrip to become a Patreon. Once I hit a certain number amount of patrons, uh, I will open up like a voting type system, where you will be able to choose what you hear me talk about here on my podcast, what you want me to see me play on Twitch, and what kind of videos you want me to talk about over on YouTube or do on YouTube. Um, so there will be like that, and then for those of you guys that just also, if you're not about Patreon, just you can help me out with the podcast link. If again, go to anchorfm.com, and find me, and you can sign up to subscribe to my podcast. 3 tiers: 99 cents, $4.99, and $9.99. So there are many ways you can support your boy. And if you do, I appreciate it so much. I know you don't have to, but just the fact that you would support me and my content is well enough, and I appreciate that. So thank you guys so much again for watching and listening. This is your boy AJTRIP signing off. As always, be good to each other, y'all. Be careful out there. I am out. Do not forget, next Tuesday, every week, during the football season. Football is back, baby. Yeah.